Hello everyone. We're back for a little bit more carving today, and hope everybody had a happy new year. This will be posting probably into a second, but that's okay. So I was going to show a few of my tools here and possibly pick a different one. I know I had one person mention that my knife needed some sharpening, which I had sharpened it before I started, and it feels sharp-ish. Feels sharper right there than it does over here. I wonder how fast the briar dulls the blade. Looks like it's pretty dull there. Right in the middle. Right where I was doing it. Alright, anyway. So I was thinking maybe I'd use a different tool today. Probably not one of those. I suppose I could try that. Boy, I don't know how to sharpen one of those. It feels kind of sharp. We can give that a shot. So I've got a bunch of cheap tools, and I've got some more expensive tools. Some just regular straight looking blades, chisels, and there's a V tool of some kind, and there's a little less of an angle. Might switch over to that actually, but we'll see. So yeah, just a little bit of everything. I'll probably stick with that. So I kind of wanted to focus a little bit of the actual talking on maybe what we should be looking forward to, or how we should be approaching the next year. I kind of feel like the doomer thing is a little worse for the wear. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of over it. I know it, fear and anxiety and all those types of things sell money, or they make money, but I am not really into that. Don't get me wrong, I think that you should live in such a way that you prepare for the worst, but hope for the best, that type of thing. I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect, but if I had to guess, I would say it's probably going to be a similar year to 2025, in that it's probably not going to be great, but probably isn't going to be god awful either. would say somewhere right in the middle of good and bad is probably the truth. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So I guess what I would say is do your best to prepare for bad things. Maybe stay a little bit informed, but don't let it consume you. You know? Try to focus on good things. Try to do good things for your family and good things for your community. If you focus on good things, then maybe good things will follow. But if not, then at least you gave it a good, solid effort. You know? Kind of want this this YouTube channel to be sort of a variety show of sorts, in that I want to talk about a lot of different things, a lot of things I'm interested in, or a lot of things I think are important to talk about. So it may be one of those things where I'm doing something while I'm talking, but the topic might be different day to day, week to week. I don't know if everybody's gonna like that. I get the feeling that YouTube's not probably a big fan of that either, to be honest. It's probably one of those things where they want consistency with what you're talking about, and so they can shove it to whoever to listen. But I don't know. I'm gonna try and break some of the rules, you know, because I don't really care about the algorithm and all that stuff. I mean, it's, you know, I don't want to care, if that makes sense. I want to create content for the fun of it, you know? I feel like that's kind of lost. Feels like it anyway. A lot of the stuff that I see feels very forced, fake. I don't know. Maybe it just feels like they're trying too hard. There are some people that are still genuine. People that do what they do regardless of what's cool, you know? But it's not as frequent, that's for sure. Today I was outside working on my car, putting a new headlight on because a deer decided to hit my car, which was cool. And I say it like that because the deer broadsided me and barely tapped my headlight. I was not going very fast, thankfully, but he jacked up my door pretty good, and my headlight housing got all jacked up. So I did my best to fix that, but it was very, very cold today, and I had to take multiple breaks. I debated doing this commentary, this video out there while I was struggling to do that, but it probably would have not been fun. Plus I don't really have the proper equipment to hold my cell phone to record, so right now you are propped precariously on a light over the top of my workpiece here, my workspace, and I don't know, it's not exactly ideal, but I want to see if I can help this out a little bit. I don't like that little ridge right there. I think what I need to get this closer to where I want this to be, I think I need to invest in I think it's a sanding wheel or something like that, and I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I really want to get rid of that crease right there. It's like a shoulder I don't want there. I want it to be a little more seamless. Oh, that's alright. What else did I want to talk about? So we're going to try to not be part of the Doomer squad in 2026. We're going to try and be a little bit prepared, but not let it overcome us or overwhelm us. Maybe see friends more physically, go outside more, even if it's cold. I don't know, just trying I guess just focus on doing good things for the right reasons, right? Maybe if everybody took the time to do some more good things in their day-to-day overall everything would be a little more, maybe we'd be heading in a better direction. I don't know. I suppose it's not ever necessarily that easy, but you know, I can try and hope. I know this is probably painful for people that actually know what they're doing to watch. So, if you are one of those people, I apologize. I do not know what I'm doing. I hardly know what I'm doing half the time. We're gonna attack it from this side. Maybe that's my problem. I like some of the grain patterns in this. I didn't notice it as much before, but my oils and stuff on my hands, I can see grain patterns. It's nice. I realized today that I am out of nicotine in any way, shape, and form. I am out of coffee. And I do not have anything slated to come in. I'm gonna be a hurting boy. That's okay, I'll figure it out. Just like the name of this segment, or this series. I'd like to talk about philosophy and all sorts of different things, but I'm not terribly well versed in anything, but I like to think about stuff, if that makes sense. I've listened to quite a few people, but I haven't gotten to do enough of the source material reading in order to really feel like I've gotten a full taste of everything, you know. And sometimes it's hard. Listen to those types of people, and different time periods and things, and not only trying to find their works, but know that they exist. I don't know. Can I round that corner, or is it just gonna... Boy, I don't know. I may end up having to... The front's looking pretty good. Except that right there. I don't like that. And I'd like it to... What I did was I probably took too much material off right here, trying to get this to come down more. I probably need to lop that off a bit. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm going to do my best to take back long form content, because I'm sick and tired of 30-second clips or 10-second clips, or 5-minute YouTube videos and stuff like that. Rather sit down and watch something for a time, rather than, I don't know, maybe I just have a better attention span than average YouTube goers nowadays. But something that we need to take back. Long form needs to be the most important type of media that we consume. Because if we can't do long form, then you're never really gonna hear and understand anything. Even like mainstream media, 10-minute segments or 15-minute segments and stuff on television, like, that is not enough time to articulate a point, have a discussion, and get down to the nitty-gritty of something, any kind of topic. It's just not enough time. You're shoehorning yourself into trying to have, headline, top level and I guess it's also probably talking points more than anything. It's less about actually stating facts. It's more about how quickly you can get your point across and how much you can influence the listener's feelings. It's probably the thing that bugs me the most. I don't like to be manipulated like that. It bothers me. I think maybe I'll keep this kind of how it is. I'll shape the bottom and this back part here, and I'll have to find a way. Maybe I tried to use a Dremel before and it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. As you can see, there's kind of like burn spots and stuff where the little sander couldn't handle the type of wood. I don't know, but I also think, at least with these types of videos, if you're here for consistent conversation, talking the entire time, you might feel a little uncomfortable. I'm going to try my best to incorporate the reality of silence into some of my videos. I suppose I made a point of that with my 10 minutes of silence in the beginning of the first video. But so I think I want to take back long form content, and I want to take back having silence. And I suppose it's might be wasteful, whether it wastes people's time or wasting hard drive space or whatever. I think sometimes it's important to just sit and watch something be done in silence. And I'm hoping that types of people I will gather will feel similarly, that a little bit of silence is okay. You don't have to fill the dead space with anything. You can just let it hang and it'll be okay. I also plan on doing as raw of a take as I can. Not only does it make it a little easier on editing in my side of the world, but I also think it's kind of nice to see some mistakes here and there, and I don't know, something about being human, especially with all the AI slop and whatever we've grown accustomed to seeing now on this platform. I would say a little bit of humanity and mistakes in a way that aren't 6 fingers and too much teeth. Maybe it'll help remind us of people making mistakes rather than robots. I have a lot that I want to talk about, and a lot I want to say. A lot of topics I want to cover. A lot of ground I want to cover. But I think I'm happy to take it slow. Sometimes things like this, we should take it a little slow. Flesh things out, you know? I think maybe some of the what I should be starting with before I push the record button here is I think I should come up with some questions. Not topics necessarily, but like questions that I've been pondering that maybe I could flesh out here, you know? Because I did want to, I think I've said all I wanted to say on, how we should approach 2026 and, just trying to have a positive mental attitude about things. Although I don't want to just have a positive mental attitude and, make it seem like everything's alright and it's gonna be alright. And I guess in some regard it likely will be, but for some people it may not. But that's just how life works, Sometimes things happen and things we don't want to happen. And that's just how life works. Trying to think of any of the questions that I had that I've been pondering lately. I think lately I've been definitely had the feeling that I don't really belong. That makes sense. Like, I work a regular job and I've never really felt like it was, I don't know, particularly fulfilling or anything like that, but I've come to terms with some of that. But lately it's felt like the Truman Show, where I feel like everything's just kind of not real. In like there's got to be a better way of doing all this stuff. There's got to be a better way of making all this work. And I feel like I'm a little bit lost in it all. And I kind of just want to stop I don't want to be part of the game anymore, It's not that I don't want to work. It's not that I don't have good work ethic or anything like that. I just think that the rat race and the struggle that we all do every day is kind of fruitless, kind of pointless, You could argue well, you get a house and all this other stuff, but, I feel like that's not a good argument, It's, I feel like I could be doing way more positive things with my life if I wasn't a debt slave to my house, if I wasn't tethered to my desk to provide for my family, and I don't know. It's a hard reality. I guess one of the biggest things that I have a hard time with is I would rather be putting my time into being my own boss and making my own products and maintaining everything. Would definitely feel like it was, I don't know, meaningful, I guess. Maybe someday. Won't have to do the 9 to 5 thing. I think the thing that kills me the most is the idea of working until you're in your 60s and then pretending like you're gonna live the rest of your, whatever's left of your life in a meaningful way, rather than struggling to manage money with medical expenses and other types of debt and things that you've got to deal with. I mean, yeah, maybe your house is paid off, but it doesn't really matter because, you still got to pay taxes and everything on it for the rest of your life. So you don't really own it, but for all intents and purposes, you've paid it off. And yeah, you got a little bit of money and you could move someplace warmer or whatever, but reality is you're probably gonna move closer to where your family is if you've got any left. If you've got grandkids or anything like that, you're probably gonna move closer to your kids and your grandkids, which is what a lot of people do. Which is fair, but it's also you know, yeah, you got all this time and everything to do what you gotta do, and you got money to throw around and everything, but man, you spent 30 years making somebody else rich. And maybe not rich, but push, somebody else's business benefited from the time that you spent working for them. And maybe that used to mean something back in the day, but I feel like nowadays it's kind of a what difference does it make kind of feeling, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that are broken. There's a lot of systems that are broken, a lot of people that are broken, and I don't know what it's gonna take to fix everything, but it seems like I don't know. Let's just say it doesn't seem like it's getting a lot better, I like how I started the episode with "Don't be a doomer," and I have now decided to eat my words and be a doomer for at least part of my episode, so that's cool. No, I don't know, I want to enjoy what little time I have on this earth with my family, my friends, and ideally doing something that I care about for myself, rather than doing something for someone else. Because it kind of doesn't make sense anymore. Don't really want to do it anymore. I want to get off the bus. Get off the the bandwagon. Well, I hope that your 2026 treats you well, and I hope that things will get better for everyone. That would be nice. Well, I don't think I've got much else to say, so I'll say thank you, and I'll catch you next time.